Right now, there's this trend that if you don't feel accepted or that people aren't nice to you, that you should just find a new tribe. And, for any number of reasons, it's this very dismissive culture, this cancel culture. And um, I don't believe that's what we're called to as believers. And I say that because when we love God and we go somewhere, we're bringing God there because He's with us, right? So if every time somebody judges you wrongly, you leave, which is common. Oh, I'm cutting this person out. I'm cutting that person out. I'm not saying you shouldn't if there's like some really dangerous behaviors going on, but for the most part, just because someone doesn't agree with you that um, doesn't mean that they are wicked or unsaved. It doesn't. People are at different places, and um, your identity in Christ cannot be influenced by someone else. Okay, so that's really the key. If you want to be able to stand in a group of people that are judging you wrongly, and they will, I mean, he tells us we're going to be persecuted, not just by the people around us that are not believers, but by our own so called brothers and sisters. You will be judged wrongly, but it will happen. And that's okay because it doesn't change who you are in Christ, right? But if every time somebody doesn't agree with you, or every time that you don't agree with them, you get rid of them, that's not the kind of relationship I would want, right? The relationship of I love you, you love me, and we are going to get through this together, love each other. Um, that's what it's about. Um, but I believe that the reason that I feel that way is that my identity in Christ has nothing to do with your approval of me. See, the only reason you would have to cut somebody out because they disapprove is if your identity can be shaken somehow. And the identity in Christ that you have, no one can take that from you unless you let them. So if you hold on to Jesus, you hold on to His promise, your identity in Him, you can go be around people who don't agree with you and not feel like you have to get rid of them or make them into a liar, because this is another common tactic. In order for their identity, their false identity, their prideful identity to be maintained, they have to discredit you. And they'll lie about you, or they'll twist what you've said, and they'll do all of these things. So expect that. But it still doesn't change who He made you to be. So all you need is Him. All you need to know is Him. And when you have that, you'll be able to stand there no matter who you're around. And you might stumble a little, but He'll catch you, right? And we all stumble. But the important thing is that when you go around people who might judge you, they still love the Lord, and you're bringing Him. See, fellowship isn't about needing other people. It's about bringing God into the equation. And if I love Him and He loves me and He's with me, then where I go, He goes. So think of fellowship in that way, right? Don't forsake fellowship. Doesn't mean that you need them. They need you because they need Him. They need to see Him in you. So think about it that way, and hopefully you can disregard their judgments of you. Okay? Doesn't matter. None of it matters. The only one who matters is Him.